Dhananjaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, the Canto entitled Cosmic Manifestation, and Chapter 2, entitled as The Lord in the Heart, text number 36. Tasmat sarvatmana rajan hari sarvatra sarvada sotavya kirtitavya cha smartavyo bhagavan brunam. Synonyms. Tasmat. Therefore, sarva, all, atmana, soul, rajan, O king, hari, the Lord, sarvatra, everywhere, sarvada, always, sotravya, must be heard, kirtitasvya, glorified, cha, also, smartavya, be remembered, bhagavan, the personality of God, pranam, by the human being, translation and purport by his divine grace, Abhay Charanari Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O king, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, always and everywhere. Purport. Srila Sukadeva Goswami begins this verse with the word tasmat, or therefore, because in the previous verse we have already explained that there is no auspicious means for salvation other than the sublime process of Bhakti Yoga. The Bhakti Yoga process is practiced by the devotees in different methods like hearing, chanting, remembering, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, worshipping, praying, rendering service in love, becoming friendly, and offering all that one may possess. All 9 methods are bona fide methods, and either of all of them, some of them, or even one of them can bring about the desired result for the sincere devotee. But out of all the 9 different methods, the first one, namely hearing, is the most important function in the process of Bhakti Yoga. Without hearing sufficiently and properly, no one can make any progress by any of the methods of practice. And for hearing only, all the Vedic literatures are there, compiled by authorized persons like Vyasadeva, who is the powerful incarnation of Godhead, and since it has been ascertained that the Lord is the supreme super soul of everything, he should therefore be heard and glorified everywhere and always. That is the special duty of the human being. When the human being gives up the process of hearing about all-pervading personality of Godhead, he becomes victim to hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. Machinery is not bad, because through the machine, one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating rapid degradation in the standard of human civilization. It is said here that it is incumbent upon the human beings to hear, because the scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are made for that purpose. Living beings other than human beings have no ability to hear such Vedic literatures. If human society gives itself to the process of hearing the Vedic literature, it will not become a victim to the impious sounds vibrated by impious men who degrade the standards of the total society. Hearing is solidified by the process of chanting. One who has perfectly heard from the perfect source becomes convinced about the all-pervading personality of Godhead, and thus becomes enthusiastic in glorifying the Lord. All the great acharyas like Ramanuja, Madhva, Chaitanya, Saraswati Thakur, or even in other countries, Muhammad, Christ, and others have all extensively glorified the Lord by chanting always and in every place. Because the Lord is all-prevailing, it is essential to glorify Him always and everywhere. In the process of glorifying the Lord, there should be no restriction of time and space. This is called Sanatana Dharma or Bhagavata Dharma. Sanatana means eternal, always and everywhere. Bhagavata means pertaining to Bhagavan, the Lord. The Lord is the master of all time and all space. And therefore, the Lord's holy name must be heard, glorified, and remembered everywhere in the world. That will bring about the desired peace and prosperity so eagerly awaited by the people of the world. The word cha includes all the remaining processes or methods of Bhakti Yoga as mentioned above. Okay. So welcome everyone to the daily morning reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. Please bear with my throat is something like monotonous and also refrain. So please bear with me for the rest of 20, 40 minutes, 20, 25 minutes. So I'm sorry for that. This verse, Mr. Prabhupada explains, and this reminds me of the imparallels where there is one similar verse discussed in Padma Purana, which is quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that is Madhya Lila. Just one minute. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, that's yes. Madhya Lila 22 and 113. That is, I just read that it's really almost the same. It is in parallels with this, and that is we keep quoting sometimes like Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartam Yona Japachit, Sarve Vidhi Nishedashu, Yetayo Yeva Kinkara. So this is exactly the same way, almost that is Satatam Kirtayantam Mame Jana Paripasate Tesham Nitya Vittana Yogakshemam Vahamyam. The similar way, this is this completely in agreement with this. One may say this day, the morning program that Srila Prabhupada has given us in the ISKCON is based on all these slokas. My computer is not somehow responding to this some problem. Sorry for that, just a minute. Yes, the translation purpose of this verse goes like this. Krishna is the origin of Lord Vishnu. He should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibitions mentioned in the Shastra should be the servants of these two principles. Like always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. And similarly, this is Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartam Vajapati, Sarve Vidhi Nishedasu, Yatayo Yeva Kinkara. So, the purport is like this. This verse is quotation from the Padma Purana. There are many regulative principles in the Shastra and directions given by the spiritual master. These regulative principles should act as servants of the basic principle, that is, one should always remember Krishna and never forget him. This is possible when one chants the Hare Krishna mantra. Therefore, one must strictly chant the Hare Krishna mantra 24 hours daily. One may have other duties to perform under the directions of the spiritual master, but he must first abide by the spiritual master's order to chant a certain number of rounds. In our Krishna consciousness moment, we have recommended that the neophyte chant at least 16 rounds, that is 16 rounds per day. This minimum 16 rounds per day. This chanting of 16 rounds is absolutely necessary if one wants to remember Krishna and not forget him. Of all the regulatory principles, the spiritual master's order to chant at least 16 rounds is most essential. Doesn't mean others are not essential. They're equally important. But the first and primemost thing is to chant 16 rounds. That is the spiritual master's injunctions that are given. One may sell books or enlist life members or render some other services. But these duties are not ordinary duties. These duties serve as an impetus for remembering Krishna. When one goes with a Sankirtana party or sell books, he naturally remembers that he is going to sell Krishna's book. In this way, he is remembering Krishna. When one does to enlist a life member, he talks about Krishna and thereby remembers him. Smartavyo satatam Vishnu, vismartavyo najatachit. The conclusion is that one must act in such a way that he will always remember Krishna, and one must refrain from doing things that make him forget Krishna. These two principles form the basic background of the Krishna consciousness. So before I speak, I beg the blessings of all the Vaishnavas so that I can speak something related to the subject matter for the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So coming back to the purport that Srila Prabhupada is the verse input in reference. So, Srila Sukadeva Goswami begins this verse with the word tasmat because he has already spoken about face in the previous verses. So he just says, because in the previous verse he has already explained that there is no auspicious means for salvation other than the sublime process of Bhakti Yoga. So here we have different methods, different processes, and we just take a look at those processes, how those are important here in this, and by using all of them or one of them, one can just attain a perfection of the human life. So here we have about 9 processes. There are instances of history, great personalities, including sages and kings, who attain perfection by this process. Some of them attain success even by adhering to one single item of devotional service with faith and perseverance. Some of these personalities are as follows. Emperor Parikshit attained the spiritual perfection simply by hearing from such an authority as Srimad Sukadeva Goswami. This is what we are just every day reading. That is the discourse that took place when Parikshit Maharaj was cursed by a Brahmin boy to die in 7 days. So he just leaves at once. That is, everyone knows about it. So he comes to the forest with an intention to get understanding that as to what a person who is about to die should be doing. So in that process, so he was instructed by Srila Sukadeva Goswami for 7 days uninterrupted, and by hearing that, so here is one personality that we have, Sukadeva Goswami speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj. Then Sri Sukadeva Goswami attained the same simply by reciting verbatim of the transcendental message which he received from his great father Srila Vyasadeva. Third one is Emperor Prahlad attained spiritual success by remembering the Lord constantly in pursuance of instructions given by Srila Narada Muni, the great saint and devotee. The fourth one, Lakshmiji, the goddess of fortune, attained success simply by sitting and serving the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fifth, King Prithu attained success simply by worshipping the Lord. Sixth is Akrura, the charioteer sent by Kamsa with the evil intention to get Krishna and Balaram to Mathura. So, the charioteer attained success simply by chanting prayers for the Lord. Seventh is Hanuman, the great personality, Mahavir Hanuman, the famous non-human devotee of Lord Sri Ramchandra, attained success simply by carrying out the orders of the Lord. Arjun, the great warrior, attained the same perfection simply by making friends with the Lord, who delivered the message of Bhagavad Gita to enlighten Arjun and his followers. 9. Emperor Bali attained success by surrendering everything unto the Lord, including his personal God. So these are the great personalities adhering to these Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, all these 9 processes of this. So these are the great personalities we have in line who can be followed by anyone, and following all of these methods or one of these methods, we can just go. And we have Emperor Ambarish Maharaj who employed all these 9 processes in attaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we'll just read about those things like Srila Prabhupada discussed in the purport like this. Further, that Prabhupada just has given this process of devotional practices right from morning Mangalarati until evening we go to sleep. So everything is just given in such a way that we always can remember Krishna without any intermission. The morning we get up and perform our sadhana and Mangalarati, Tulasi Arati, and rest of the programs is given by Srila Prabhupada in such a way that we can always remember Krishna and never forget him. This is the timetable, that the process that he has just given in and introducing all over the world, all over our ISKCON temples. So these are the methods that we can, following these things strictly in our life, we can certainly have this understanding that we can always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So we have certain slokas in Bhagavad Gita also like this, which is Satatam Kirtayanto Mame Jana Pranipasate Tesham Nityaviptana Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. And also we have 940. Satatam Kirtayanto Mame Yatam Tachyagudavrata Namasyam Tachamam Bhakta Nitet Prabhupasate. And similarly there are so, and even Sarvadharman Parityadya Mamekam Saranam Vrajaham Tam Sarvapapiryu Moksha Ishyami Matukha. So these are all the things that which substantiate those the principles that are given spoken by Krishna, by which we can adhere in our lives and practice this to remember Krishna always and never forget Krishna. So here also that Srila Prabhupada, in the current situation, what is happening in this world with filled with so many nonsensical, we have millions of newspapers every day come out, and so many lakhs of novels that are just transmitting unwanted information about which people fall prey. And I have been observing during my past 1 month tour in India, even specifically when I was coming back, there was the person who was sitting by my side. Unfortunately, I was wondering what was the novel that he was just reading, right from the time he boarded the flight from Delhi all the way until he landed in Chicago. There was no intermission at all for him, except the time that he was eating. And that's when he just put the book there and went to the lavatory side, and then I just curious to just see what was that. So much interesting subject matter. You will be astonished to see that the title of that book is Spy Stories. Spy Stories. Unfortunately, that was what he was engrossed on the 15 hours during his flight from Delhi to Chicago. This is a very unfortunate situation of Srila Prabhupada brings up things like this is the special duty of the human being when the human being gives up the process of hearing about the all-pervading personality of Godhead. He becomes victim to hearing rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. So this is one of the evidence that I can just quote. This was a very, very unfortunate situation. It is like that, and whatever we just see, there's so many things. The morning newspaper is a garbage. We just throw it in a garbage. A newspaper that is waste paper in the evening. But people right from morning, the moment they get up, the first thing they would like to just have this is a cup of so-called that what we just are abstain from a tea, and they say if I don't take this, my day, I can't begin my day. Similarly, if they don't read the newspaper, they just feel something lacking in their day's complete their routine. So these are unfortunate situations that Srila Prabhupada very nicely bringing out this. The rubbish transmitted by man-made machines. Machinery is not bad because through the machines, one can take advantage of hearing about the Lord. But because machinery is used for ulterior purposes, it is creating a rapid degradation in the standards of human civilization. It is said here that it is incumbent upon the human beings to hear about here because the scriptures like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are made for that purpose. We are fortunate to have these wonderful literatures in our lifetime to just get perfected of ordained all things, always remembering Krishna, never to forget him. So here we have some, even in my own life, I've seen some people have really made this their life and so their mission, just always remembering. Some I have come across, and it was a lady who was always just absorbed in chanting the holy name, of course, not like us on beats, but whatever she was doing during her lifetime, always chanting the holy name, no matter what she was engaged in the household chores, like all other activities, cooking or sleeping, mopping, doing anything, always her tongue used to vibrate the holy name of God. So that was the thing. And also she was proclaiming that one fine day, there will be a airplane coming from the heavenly planets for me to attain, or you just to ascend that and go back to Vaikuntha planets. And we unfortunately don't know whether real the airplane came or not. She performed all her daily duties even the day when she was leaving, completed her usual course things. She took prasad, she sat in a posture, chanting the holy name, and thus she left the body. So it is a determination of one individual how we just uh, create our daily routine, the way that we have to be doing things like, okay, for example, when I say someone, Prabhu, you are in the temple, morning you get up for Mangala Arati, you do that all, everything until Guru Puja, and you go back to the kitchen and cook for Krishna and offer that, and you partake Krishna Prasadam, and someone comes, the visitors come, you talk to them about Krishna and you do Krishna Prasadam, and so on and so forth. You have this opportunity for remembering Krishna all the time. But what about that? That nobody is deprived of this thing. I can definitely say that we can work our daily act routine in such a way that we can certainly remember Krishna with the activities that Srila Prabhupada has given us like this. Because of we are trying to gather these unwanted or fulfill our unwanted or undesirable necessities, unnecessary necessities in our lifetime. That is what is bothering so much, deviating or just drifting our mind from thinking of Krishna. This always to think of Krishna, we can just by our activities, we can just definitely think of it. As Prabhupada also said that, or even Krishna, while you're drinking, I am the taste of the water. When you're drinking water, it is Krishna. You can remember Krishna, the taste of the water, the fragrance of the flowers that are offered to Krishna or Tulsi. Whatever it is, in these so many ways that we have, but that needs a proper program in our day-to-day life. Getting up early morning and engaging into the spiritual activities. And that when you start this basis like this, the rest of the day and so many hours what we have, it will also be around that, around thinking of Krishna. That is always remembering Krishna, never forget Krishna. So this is some of the points that I thought of sharing with you all. I think it's almost time, maybe about 2 minutes left. So anyone has any comments, I think we'll open up for that. Comments or corrections or anything like that, please, we would just be happy to have the rest of the time spent on that. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Lakshmikant Prabhu, if there are no comments or anything, you can just, I think, we can close down for the day.
Yeah, maybe I'm just waiting, Prabhu, in case if anyone has any comments also. Yeah, wonderful verse, Prabhu, this one. Prabhupada quotes a lot, right? Some of those most.
The one which is quoted from Padma Purana also so much in line with the same sloka.
A very nice verse. Vyakirtitavyasya smathavya Bhagavan. Yeah, somehow or other. I mean, you mentioned about uh, all the regulations are for the two purposes. One is, I mean, always remember Krishna and never forget him. Right? Somehow or other, we can do it, whatever activities that we do in that line. I don't want to say by hook or crook, but yeah, somehow or other, I mean, we should try to remember the Lord. So whatever it takes to for us to do it. So I mean, that is only possible through, I mean, the way you started, I think, from hearing, right? So I mean, yeah, that always, I mean, I was hearing the other day. I mean, even if we are sitting in the class, I mean, we are doing maybe something else. I mean, I'm just saying, I mean, we should not do, but yeah, I mean, if somebody is, even a small child sitting in the class and is not able to focus on the what the speaker is speaking, but still something will go into their heart, right? So I was hearing from Maharaj. I mean, he was so my son was, I mean, doing something artwork, very busy with doing his own work, right, in the class. But Maharaj was saying, he was asking a question. I mean, I know something will go into your heart, but of course he could not answer, but I'm just saying it will be someday or other in future it will help, because that message is going to go, um, I mean, somehow or other, right? So I mean, you're on mute. You're
Paumara,
saying,
yes, please go ahead.
yeah, no, I was just, I think I could not hear when you were speaking. I thought you were saying something. Yeah, I mean, that hearing is so important, I was thinking. So,
This, the hearing, this is the one thing that Srila Prabhupada says, that when we are asleep, totally this one in sense is active even while we are asleep, by which we can wake that person, wake up the person now by making some sound. Please get up. It's time for Mangalarati, something like that. So that sense is active, though rest of the senses are inactive. But hearing, this particular sense is active all the times. So when we can really use it for hearing right things, not with this unwanted, and Srila Prabhupada just know that it is really polluting the entire universe with so many unwanted. Those are in majority, only in minority some kind of things that they're going on. So, but with all that, this sense, if we really put it into proper utilization, so definitely our life will be perfect. So hearing, and only because our our reception should mistune to the unwanted sound vibration, only tune into, attract into the proper, that is Krishna consciousness, or the thing that reminds us always remember Krishna. That is the best methodology. We can mistune for rest of the things that automatically we have to employ that auto attractive or auto reception, auto what is that? Mute. So it should, when that comes to be something unwanted, it should automatically get muted, which means we don't receive anything. No transmission is being received. The reception becomes totally zero. And when there is positive vibration that attracts, automatically it should be attracting. If we have such device, or automatically we train ourselves, our reception, our hear sense of hearing to that method, that will be perfect. There is no problem, no danger of getting attracted to the rubbish musical things that glorifies the mundane personalities or mundane kind of things.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So much, I think that's good. There are no more comments from anybody. We can close.
Thank you.
Pandita Bhavane Vaishnava Namo Namaha Ananta Koti Vaishnava Jai.
Hey.